Consoles and games through the years. Throughout the years, there have been many advancements in the technology used to create gaming consoles, as well as the games played on them. In this presentation, we will be looking at some of the consoles created through the years and some notable games for them. The first Atari VCS console was released in September 1977. Atari was able to sell the Atari 2600 in various versions and games in America until 1989. The Atari 2600 used an MOS technology 6507 microprocessor. The television interface adapter, or TIA, generated the video and audio signals. One of the most notable games on the Atari 2600 was E.T. the Extraterrestrial, considered by many to be the worst game ever made. This game was actually very innovative for its time. It was one of the first games with a complete world map. Before it was known as the NES, the console was called the Famicom, Family Computer, and was released in Japan in 1983. Before its release in North America in October of 1985, the console had to be redesigned and renamed. The NES used an MOS technology 6502 microprocessor. There was also a picture processing unit and an RF modulator located on the motherboard. These output the video and audio to the TV. Like most consoles at the time, games for the NES were cartridges. The cartridge has two ROM chips. One stores the game program code and the other stores graphics data. There is also a lockout chip placed in every licensed cartridge. Following up on games like Track and Field and Metal Gear, Konami released the game Contra. Contra is a run-and-gun game that had been inspired by popular American films at the time, films like Aliens and Rambo. After a failed partnership with Nintendo in 1988, Sony continued to work on their own console. This project had attracted many developers and partners, including Electronic Arts and Namco. The PS1 had a 32-bit R3000 processor, which over a decade later was used by NASA to power the New Horizon probe. The CPU, GPU, and audio processors were combined into a single application-specific integrated circuit. Released in 1999, Ape Escape was the first game on the PlayStation to require the DualShock controller. The game had been developed with the remote specifically in mind. The controls were reminiscent of the N64 release of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The PlayStation 2 stands as the most sold console ever, but also the console with the longest manufacture period of 13 years. In that time, it sold over 150 million units worldwide, and by 2011 had a game library of over 4,000 games. The CPU in the PS2 is a reduced instruction set computer processor, same as in the PS1. The PS2 also had a floating point unit that dealt with complex mathematics so that the CPU didn't have to. Released in 2005, Sly Cooper Honor Among Thieves is the third game in the Sly Cooper series, developed by Sucker Punch, who also developed the Infamous series. Though it was meant to be completely 3D, the developers of the Sly series only ended up making a portion of the game 3D. Yes, games and consoles have evolved, and have become better, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the older games and consoles are still loved by many.